Thank you so much for watching Landumc Goes There. Please subscribe and hit the like button and the bell notification button. National Lampoon's Vacation, or sometimes it's referred to simply as Vacation, is a 1983 comedy film that was directed by Harold Ramis, and it stars Chevy Chase, Beverly D'Angelo, Imogene Coca, Randy Quaid, John Candy, and Christy Brinkley. The screenplay was written by John Hughes, and it was based on a short story called Vacation 58, which appeared in National Lampoon magazine. The storyline features Chevy Chase in an idiot-defining role as the alarming, optimistic Clark Griswold, who's a well-meaning husband and father that's determined to give his family the time of their lives, no matter what the cost to life, vehicle, or animal is incurred. This movie pretty much single-handedly killed the station wagon as a viable means of transportation for the American family. Griswold's plan to cart his family from Chicago to California to visit Disneyland's stand-in, Wally World, required that they have a durable vehicle. It's obvious that he didn't get one. The unheralded star of the film is the Wagon Queen family Truckster, a station wagon with 8 headlights and a pea green finish. The car was actually a Ford LTD Country Squire that was heavily modified to be as unattractive as possible, and it did the job really too well. Following the release of the movie, station wagon sales plummeted. The models were shortly replaced in popularity by minivans and later SUVs. A modified family Truckster wagon that had no engine compartment and had camera racks all around the sides of the vehicle. As they traveled around the United States, they gathered shots that compile the travel scenes in the movie. The scenes at Cousin Eddie's house were shot at a farmhouse in Boone, Colorado, just east of Pueblo. No one in the film ever knew how Cousin Eddie was related to the family. They initially didn't have a family tree on Cousin Eddie. They finally worked out that Ellen and Catherine, Eddie's wife, were cousins. The clicking sound that Cousin Eddie makes with his tongue was something that Randy Quaid came up with when he was chosen for this character. According to the director, Quaid marked every spot in the script where he wanted Cousin Eddie to make that noise. He picked this up from somebody that he grew up with in his childhood. When the production first went to hire Imogene Coca as Aunt Edna, the actress really wasn't sure that she wanted to play somebody that was that mean of a role. They worked on her and finally convinced her by telling her that as great of an actress as she was, she could play it as mean as she wanted to. There were times during the shoot when they were filming scenes inside the car that she would turn to the rest of the cast and ask them if she was being too mean on camera. Chevy Chase and James Keach have both stated in interviews that during the dog tied to the bumper scene, both of them were legitimately tearing up during the filming, and that Chevy consistently had to bite his lips and was short of breath, all this being very genuine. They were having a terrible time containing themselves because they were laughing so hard. They had real trouble getting the scene shot. All of the cast members had terrible experiences when it came to filming the scenes inside Wally World, where they rode all the roller coasters and other rides. All of them talked about how sick they got from riding all the rides and the numerous takes that they had to do on each one of them. Dana Barron had to take motion sickness pills to keep her from getting sick so they could get the shots completed. And it would make her sleepy, and between scenes, she would go pass out on nearby benches in between takes. Anthony Michael Hall mentions that in the shots on the roller coaster where he looked scared, he wasn't acting. His fear in those shots was completely genuine. The theme park that served as Wally World was actually Six Flags Magic Mountain in Valencia, California. The roller coaster, referred by Clark as the Whippersnapper, is actually called the Revolution and was the first roller coaster to have a 360-degree vertical loop. John Candy's cameo at the end of the film was only made possible due to the poor reception that the film got when they put it in front of test audiences at screenings. The director turned to Candy because he found the character that he did of Wally, the Canadian security guard, one that he had done in his stand-ups and on television appearances, would be just perfect as an insert in this part. Candy basically modeled his performance as Lasky after the security guard character he had been portraying for years. Originally, it was supposed to be Chevy Chase in the front seat of the roller coaster with John Candy. With the combined size of both men, they couldn't fit, so the change was made with Rusty being in the front seat instead of Clark. Christy Brinkley, in her debut film role in the movie, is driving a Ferrari 308 GTS that has California license plates that read "Love Me." Despite having only a few scenes in the movie, she stayed for the entire length of the film's shoot. She spent her entire days off going horseback riding and whitewater rafting. The John Hughes story and script originally had Christy Brinkley's mystery woman cruising by in a Ferrari and flirting with Rusty. When the focus then shifted to Chase, so did her attentions. Brinkley was also supposed to strip naked for the movie, but she refused to do it. I'd have to say that's pretty wishful thinking on the production's part, that this highly sought after and possibly the biggest model of that time would take her clothes off for a movie. But I guess you never know until you ask. They tried, and she flat out refused to do it. She ended up compromising and wound up wearing a nylon bodysuit that gave off the impression of being topless while in the pool. This movie was a box office hit, earning more than $60 million in the U.S., with an estimated budget of around $15 million. What a classic this movie was, and it was the beginning of 5 sequels that would come. Take a look back at this fun film. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll continue to chase the classics.